Welcome in, everybody. Time to get started just after 2 o'clock here. Welcome in, everyone, and welcome to 5 game-changing AI techniques that you can try today. Great to see some of you back again this month. Welcome to all of our new faces as well. We're so very glad you're with us. Today's webinar is for those who are looking to unlock the potential of ChatGPT and other similar AI programs to improve your workflow, organize your data and your thoughts, and to level up on any skill or knowledge that you really want to learn. Cool, man. My name is Mark Keady. I work in creative content and AI integration here at WSI Recruitment and Staffing. And it was really just a huge passion of mine. So it's always exciting to see so many people show up today here for our webinars. WSI is a thought leader in labor, business strategy, and in technology. And of course, we want to make opportunities and provide opportunities for other working professionals to upgrade their skills with webinars and training sessions like these. So again, thank you for attending. You're definitely leveling up here today. So as you know, if you've been to one of these webinars with us before, we like to start the webinar off with a scenario and then sort of work on that as we move through it. So let's imagine a table of data of a year's worth of production numbers of maybe our 30 employees on our floor, and it's broken down by month. The question is how can AI help us in our need to analyze this and really to just sort of tell a story and do it all in just a few minutes. So we're going to jump into that in just a moment. When we talk about 5 game-changing AI techniques that you can use today, we'll run through those. The first one we're going to do here in just a moment is called data analysis. We're going to use ChatGPT to analyze spreadsheets, provide insight, as well as graphs and charts for outputs. Then we're going to work on parsing data. That's, taking all the data from various sources of a spreadsheet and being able, maybe we use large written copies or whole PDFs. We use a ton of different ways to, or show you a ton of different ways to take large amounts of data and get it down to just what you want. The third skill we'll learn today is ChatGPT voice. This is a nice hands-free breakthrough showing you how you can use ChatGPT voice on your mobile device and now on desktop as well in order to sort of create a one-on-one personal coach or AI agent. In addition to that, we'll talk about paid features, powerful tools like GPT-4 Turbo, GPT with Canvas, GPT with web search. There's a lot of different models out there for ChatGPT on the paid side of things. We're going to show you all those today. And of course, strategic decision making. One of those models is ChatGPT's 1.0 version, and it is amazing when it uses reasoning and more innovative solutions, and it takes a lot more time and a lot more computing power to come up with a response, but that is also cool as well. So let's get started. If you are brand new to AI, then of course, welcome. This is a great course for you. You can of course open a free ChatGPT account at chat.openai.com. Accounts are free there, and that's going to give you access to a limited amount of access to our 4.0, our 4.0, and our 0.1 models, but it does give you unlimited access to the 3.5 model, which is a great way to get started. Now, just for the record, paid users and the paid access is the tools that we're going to use today that we're going to show you in today's webinar. So for a lot of these tools, you will need the paid subscription, $20 a month. And full disclosure here at WSI, we just keep one $20 account on board a month, and everyone has the password for it when they want to use it and use ChatGPT and all of the cool features that come with it. So let's start off with number 1 of the 5 game-changing AI techniques that you can use today. The first one is to analyze data. So one of the cool things is that when this first came out, maybe several months ago, ChatGPT was okay at analyzing data, but it's getting better every single day. And today, our data is going to be a spreadsheet with production numbers for an entire year for our business. And what we're going to do is use that data to tell a story. So what I'm going to do is bring up our 2024 production data. Let me share our entire tab. We're going to come over here to our Excel spreadsheet. So everyone can see this data right here. We have beautiful numbers. If you're a data nerd, you've got 12 months of the year. You've got production numbers for everybody on the floor, 30 people all in told. And really, there's not a lot of story to tell here. It's just numbers on a sheet. So what we're going to do is give this sheet to ChatGPT today, and we're going to ask it to, basically help us tell a story. Now, I have some saved prompts already put together here just in order to speed things along today. So what I'm going to do is start off with this first one right here. And so let's paste that into our ChatGPT. says, using this data, focus on April, May, and June. List each month by employee with the highest production to the lowest and include their totals, output to table form, and then make the bar chart of the information. So not a great prompt, honestly, but it's giving it some information on what it wants to do. And we could certainly get a lot more detailed when it comes down to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and we're going to find our production data. That's that spreadsheet we were just looking at. We're going to upload this spreadsheet to ChatGPT. And immediately you're going to see how it's going to take every cell and lay it out for itself so it can see what it needs to do with the data and keep track of the data in its own cells. Now, of course, we have a prompt to go with it as well. So as we upload this into ChatGPT, we see all the data right there that we just saw on that spreadsheet has now been pushed into a spreadsheet. We've got 30 employees. We've got a header row, very nice. And we've got 12 months of data there. So as it's over here, it's starting to analyze all this data here. And we can see here that it has put April's in total. Let's go back just a second here. I think we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's go back up the chain real quick here. First, it came out with our data and it spit it into April totals, May totals, and June totals, which is really cool. And it laid it out highest to lowest as far as production numbers go. And already right here, we can see, in those months, who struggled to make their numbers, who did well with their numbers, and we have a leaderboard. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then we asked it to make a graph. So we come down here and we see production numbers for April with Mandy leading the way and summarily everyone down the line based on the numbers. These are great charts. This might be the best result I've actually seen from ChatGPT on this, but I love it. It's consolidated data. And all we did was upload our spreadsheet numbers to ChatGPT and give it a simple prompt. And so while we're working with that, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come down here to our prompt. We're going to say, make a list of any person who's under 10,000 units for more than 1 month of the year and list the months and totals, da, da, da. If the number of the employee is over 1,000, then we'll leave it blank. We'll put leave blank for the month. If it is under 10,000, put the total cell and make it, let's just say, I don't even want to use bold. I'm not sure. Put the total in the cell, not the sale, the total production numbers. I got this production number in the total cell. There's our prompt. So there we go. Let's see if we can get this to essentially go through that entire sheet of data, and we want it to find everyone who didn't make the number. Let's, for hypothetical purpose, say 10,000 is our number, right, for the month that you have to hit. We're going to find out month by month through the year who didn't hit that number, what month they didn't hit it, and maybe that's going to be able to tell us a little bit of a story. And so if we see our spreadsheet right here, we can see Carl hit his months. Every month that's blank was a 10,000 month or more. Nicely done, Carl. We see in June and July, he kind of phoned it in, especially in July, maybe he had some time off, who knows. But now we're starting to see a bigger sheet of data here of what's happening with our business, right? Just a simple breakdown of who didn't make their numbers. And if we wanted to, we could export to a CSV file, right? That's a great thing. Maybe you don't know about Chat. This is sort of a bonus right there. You can export to Word documents, CSV, PDFs, all kinds of different output. And right there is the file that we were just looking at of the data. So we can share this right here. Here it comes. So here's our data. And we can now start to see the months where we had somebody who, had a really good run. Jake hitting his numbers really well right through there. Maybe we see somebody who has struggled, where we see that maybe Dustin has only hit his numbers 1 out of the last 5 months. So this is just one of those examples, right? Example number 1 of something you can do today to use ChatGPT to your advantage, breaking down data inside of a spreadsheet. Pretty straightforward, simple. We took all this data right here, and we were able to start being able to tell a little bit of a story out of it, thanks to ChatGPT doing its thing. So pretty cool way right there to get things going. That is reason, or excuse me, way number 1 is a game-changing item to use AI And building on that, parsing data, right? You don't always need the whole spreadsheet, just grabbing the columns and details that matter. We just did that with that spreadsheet when we got April, May, and June's information out of ChatGPT, out of the spreadsheet. So very cool. And we can do that with spreadsheets. We can do that with large PDFs. We can do that with books. We can do that with images and so much more, in fact. So let's take this wonderful document right here. Let's take a look at this document. And what you're seeing here, my friends, is the Michigan Economic Outlook for 2025. Scintillating read, full of charts and stories and the great things that are happening in the state of Michigan from an economy standpoint. Charts that say maybe not so great. I don't know. There's a lot here. And maybe we have to get all this information kind of parsed down to a simple idea. Well, cool thing is we can put this PDF into ChatGPT and we can do kind of the same thing. So we're going to open up a new chat right here. And we talked about those models, 4.0, 0.1, all those, that's up here. So we use the 4.0 model in our paid version, but there's also, like I said, several different models you can use depending on your subscription. So let's get back here and find our PDF. This is the Michigan Economic Forecast. And let's see, see if we already have a prompt for this. Read this data, formulate a table, give me a spreadsheet. Okay, we've already got that. So what I want this one to be is read this white paper and create a 2-page executive summary for me. Put in important, pardon my typing, data and stats. Use charts if you can. Focus on main issues and create a positive outlook with an air of caution. This is our prompt. It's just on the fly here. 2-page executive summary out of the PDF. It's got everything in there. So here's an outline. Very nice. And now we're going to prepare it as a polished document. Look at that. So that's just giving it a large basis of information and then asking it to summarize it, essentially. So we've done that with a spreadsheet now. We've been able to parse information out of a spreadsheet. We've been able to take a PDF and break it down into real statistics and real information that we can use now to summarize that data. And all of this, what's it doing? It's saving us time. It's creating efficiencies. And so we don't have to go through this line by line, but as you can see right here, we have charts and stats. This is just something great. The conclusion, all pasted in there. 2 pages, something you could give the boss, something you could give a presentation on. You could paste into a PowerPoint, spread presentation, whatever it is you want to do with it. Pretty cool. Let's do one last one here before we move on to number 3. And this one is taking data off a web page. I'm not sure the bosses upstairs like me showing you this one, but let's go to Indeed.com. Okay. And let's just say we're going to look for manufacturing jobs. And what we're trying to do is find other jobs that are out there, maybe like our job or similar jobs that we may be competing with as manufacturers, as staffing agencies. So I type in manufacturing into Grand Rapids, and what do I get? I get a normal Indeed page full of all kinds of manufacturing jobs, line operators, welders, fabricators, assembly, coordinations, a lot of stuff here. I want to be able to take all this data and put it into a spreadsheet that we can use and be able to manipulate as we need to. So one of the cool ways to do this is to simply just take this page. We're going to hit Control A, highlight everything, Control C, copy everything, and we're just going to come over here to ChatGPT. And we're just going to ask it to parse this data into a table. Table forms are really awesome. Helps you copy and paste them wherever you need to go. First column is business name. Second is job title. Third is pay. Fourth is shift. Fifth is city. If no pay listed, put not listed. And then we're just going to paste in all that information. See all that stuff right there from Indeed that we were just into? Look at all that. That's all the web stuff, zip code. I mean, it's just a gobbledygook mess of everything. And we just throw it all in there. Just throw all the ingredients into the pot and tell the pot how to cook the soup. and let's see what we get out of it. So this is really great for taking huge pages of like jobs, or maybe you've got a lot of web pages with lots of information on it, or uh, PDFs, books, whatever that could be. You can paste that into ChatGPT, and the cool thing is you know, like I said, it kind of figures it out for you and just gets you the parts that you want to do. So it's analyzing this page. It's got to build a table here. It's taking a little longer than maybe we thought it would. Ah, there we go. Came out very quickly. So we see right here in our data, Ridgeview as a welding technician, 20 bucks an hour, pays not listed for some of these. That's, by the way, as employers, I would highly recommend you always list your pay. So anyway, that being said, we just saw our table right there, pretty cool stuff. And while it's producing that, we could come back over here to Indeed, and we could say, hey, you know what, this is a good start. Let's take another page. And we go to page 2, again, Control A, highlight everything, copy it. And if we just paste it in here, we can just say add to table, and paste all that in as well. And we can build ourselves a huge list of data from a large sheet. So this can come from a web page. One of the things I know our business team can do is just, you know, search yellow page listings and Google listings and highlight a whole page of listings, throw them into ChatGPT, and have the output come out in a format that they can use, that they can paste into their CRMs to be able to do with as they need. So as you can see right here, still analyzing. What it'll do is it'll take page 2 of the jobs, and it will build it onto our current table, and then we can take this data that we see here, and we can do all sorts of things with it if you wanted to. Let's see what we got down here at the bottom. Is it cooking? There it is. So it started off as Ridgeview Industry, so we can see it didn't just create what we pasted in, it regenerated the entire table with all of our new information as well. And if we wanted to download that table, we could certainly get that right here into a spreadsheet automatically, just like that. So we see our title, our pay, and now we can do all kinds of sorting if we needed to. We could sort by, you know, sort by C, find the jobs that aren't listed, see how we see all those. Those are the ones that aren't listed, so we could take those out if we wanted to and say, okay, we don't know what those jobs are. But now we see, hey, here's some jobs and what they pay in the hour, and we can find, you know, just parsed information from a web page. This all came off of Indeed, but now we've taken all that information off of Indeed and we've created it into usable data that we can use for a variety of purposes. So that is our parsing data demonstration. That was fun. So we've been able to do that by uploading spreadsheets. We've been able to upload full copy and pasted web pages. We've been able to upload PDFs and get data parsed out as we need it, and created new data as well. So pretty amazing ways to parse data. That's our number 2 way of the 5 game-changing AI techniques that you can use today. Our third is one of my most favorite, and it is ChatGPT with voice. And this is really cool. Now, the way this looks is installing it on your phone is a must. In fact, as we do this webinar, they are now putting it on the desktop version as well. So if you use chat at your desktop, you can now speak directly back and forth with chat. This was exclusively mobile up until just a few moments ago, literally. And this is brand new, fresh now that they put it on the desktop. But the possibilities are really only limited by your imagination. So we're going to try for a live demonstration here. And essentially, if you're looking at ChatGPT on your phone, you have an app, just like anything else. It's right down here. I open my ChatGPT app. And right down here on this side, right here where the input is, there's this little like speaker button. I'm sorry if you can't see that there. Little speaker button, that little white button. And that is what's going to get us our voice activation back and forth. So if you know how to prompt, we're going to basically hit this and just take off with it. Show you how it works. So let's see.
Hi there. How's it going?
It's good. You're an HR professional with 25 years of experience, and you're excellent at communications. I need your help having a difficult conversation with an employee. This employee is always tardy, but has the most amazing excuses because it ends up as some kind of adventure and a miracle that they even made it to work during the day. And then all the other employees think that this person is a hero, and I look like the bad guy if I'm trying to chastise them for being late. Is there any way you can help me role play a conversation?
Absolutely. It's important to address the tardiness while acknowledging the creativity in their excuses. Here's a possible approach. Hey, employee's name. I've noticed you have quite the knack for turning your morning commutes into adventures. It's impressive. However, consistent punctuality is crucial for the team. Let's find a way to ensure you're here on time so we can all stay on track. We can tweak this based on your style. What do you think?
Sure, let's try.
All right, let's give it a go. You start by being the employee, and I'll be you addressing the situation whenever you're ready.
Hey, boss, how's sorry I was late today. I was saving a dog from the McDonald's drive-through, and then when I got it to its owner, the owner and I got in a crazy fight about the dog. I got beat up, and then the dog defended me, and then I have this dog now. So I'm sorry I'm late. By the way, the dog's in the car.
Hey, I appreciate your dedication and the incredible story, but we really need to work on being on time. How can we ensure you're here promptly moving forward?
Take this dog.
I see you're dealing with a lot. Maybe we can discuss this after work. But for now, let's focus on finding ways to ensure you're on time. Sound good?
Okay, thank you.
If you need more help, just let me know.
And that is an example of ChatGPT with voice. There's several different voices to choose from, more coming online as well. We use this for a lot of different varieties here. You know, we can use it as a sales objector, programming in sales objections, as a rules and training partner, helping coach or quiz people through their training, or maybe refreshing some of the things they should know, maybe getting a little bit of a bounce on some of the language that they use when they're on the phone with our customers. You can use it as an instructor, professional coach, somebody who can teach you a foreign language, somebody who can help you understand bigger concepts. It's really important to sometimes have that communication, and I feel like they're doing a really good job with being able to make it seem really personal. Experts in specific fields. There's so much more that you can do with ChatGPT voice. I use it as a softball umpire assistant. If I'm making a call at my girls' game and I'm not sure about it, or I don't know what the call is, or I got coaches arguing, I have a ChatGPT programmed with just softball rules, and it will actually go back and look at the rules for me and spit out the rule and tell me what the official ruling is based on the scenario I give it. You can do a lot of things with GPT voice, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm really excited about the possibilities with this. I encourage you to try it. Put it on your mobile, which is great for driving in the car, or at your desktop as well. So let's talk about another model here. We have ChatGPT 4 with Canvas. Have you ever written something, or let me put it this way, has ChatGPT ever written you something? And upon asking for maybe a slight change in a revision, it gets rid of the whole thing, or it changes the tone, it gets rid of parts you really like, and all of a sudden it's not being very helpful. Well, the great thing is ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas now lets you improve your writing and format in several ways. And so we're going to explore this new model here that came out just a few months ago. And essentially, this is almost like having a writing coach with you. So GPT-4, the canvas has now been put into GPT-4o. So if you're using GPT-4o, the canvas is right there. Now you have the attachment. You have this World Wide Web. This is a cool button you can push when you search on GPT, or put in a prompt that'll use the internet to help formulate its results. And this is our tools. This used to be called the canvas. Now they put it down here as tools. And so let's just write an email to the team about the Christmas party. Let's see. Need to write email to staff about the Christmas party, tongue in cheek, about last year's debacle. Reminder, we don't have room on Monday's calendar for a bunch of HR meetings. Imbibe with caution, and remember, don't be inappropriate. So we'll see what ChatGPT can write. Oh, there we go. Good old ChatGPT making out a nice generic. Here's our WSI Christmas party around the corner. Cool. January 10th. We're doing ours late this year. So we got a nice little email here. Pretty fun. But we really want to rework it. And so instead of saying rework it or no bullet points or whatnot, we're just going to hit View Tools. And right down here is Canvas. So if we just hit that, it's going to put our email into the canvas. Essentially, it's like a little Bob Ross painting, right? Now we have our email in the canvas. We can highlight anything on here, and we can say, get that up there in the canvas. All right, so we can highlight this now, and we can ask ChatGPT right here. See how it puts a little window right there? We can just say, get rid of emojis. Now watch what Canvas will do. Instead of regenerating the entire prompt or the entire response, it just works the area we highlighted. That is sort of a game changer, especially if you're looking for ways to rewrite something. So now we can say, let's not be so optimistic about the party. We don't really want to do it. I like the party, not WSI's Christmas party. Our parties are great. I'm just using this as an example because apparently we have to have one. I love it. So as you can see right here, it's making changes for us. We know what our date is going to be. So date is going to be Friday, January 10th, 2025. Ow. Time 5 to 10 p.m. Whoops. So you can see how Canvas works now. You can get said on the fly changes to just little parts you want right there. And ours is just, if you're wondering, this year it's going to be at Kalamazoo Air Zoo, a wonderful venue. All right, so you can see how but that's not just all Canvas does. Canvas has a lot of fun tools to work with as well. And so if you come down here to the right, you can see suggest edits, make it longer, make it shorter, change the reading level. Maybe you want to write it for college level. Maybe you want to write it for 8th grade level. Format it, polish it, add emojis. So let's go ahead and add some length to it. And we'll just make it a little bit longer. For reading purposes, we can see it's finding places to add a little length, not much length, that's for sure. Let's go to reading level. Our reading level right now is at high school. We're going to put it to college because we're all super smart people. As you can see, it's keeping the gist and the tradition of our generation. I like how it's sort of keeping it more narrative, more descriptive, a little bit better storytelling. So it's wonderful. You have this writing assistant essentially in the form of ChatGPT with Canvas. You can make things longer, change just the parts. And one of the fun things is the suggestions page. If you hit suggest edits, watch this. You get a professional writing coach to hang out right here, an event that is as much tradition as it is a necessary conclusion to the year. So you get these suggestions from ChatGPT that you can incorporate as well. Looks like we lost our suggestions there for a second on the box. There it goes. There they came back. So if we want to incorporate it, we can just say apply. It's still formulating some responses down there. That's why we're still, it's still working through its response. That's why we can't respond just yet. All right, so finally came up with all of these wonderful writing. We can take them or leave them like a salad bar. And so instead of an event that's as much traditions, and we get a rewrite based on its suggestions. You can come through here and click apply and improve your writing or reject the suggestion, whatever it is you might want to do. But that's cool. So you have, like I said, a writing partner with you, helping you all along the way. It doesn't always have to sound like ChatGPT. It can sound like you. You can change the tone. You can change the length, change the reading level. So that's one of the fun things that we can do with ChatGPT or with Canvas. So, like I said, a way to improve your writing in several different ways. And finally, today, our fifth way to have a game-changing AI technique that you can try today is one of the newer models called ChatGPT 1.0. And this model uses far more reasoning capabilities than other models. And essentially, that's a fancy way to say it's thinking about things from multiple angles and all the steps and processes that go into putting something together. And it's using a lot of computational power to do so. So if you're looking for something that's got more advice, better sourcing, maybe can help solve complicated problems, the ChatGPT 1.0 model is definitely your friend. Good at math, good at coding, organizing complex tasks. When you come up here to ChatGPT, you start off here and you can come into GPT and you can see 4.0, which is the one we use that's really great for a lot of tasks. But the 0.1 model right here uses advanced reasoning. And so we need to put together a wedding. I'm just using this as an example. There are 4 of us: Mark, Bill, Tommy, and Janet. Mark is good at event organizing. Janet is good at decorating. Tommy is good at personnel and timelines. And Bill is good with media and design. Organize a timeline for us to get this wedding planned for, let's call it September 17th, 2025. Use West. Let's keep trying. I'm going to give it a lot of different tasks here. Use West Michigan wedding vendors and come up with 3 to 4 choices per category. Mid-level wedding budget of about, I don't know, $60,000. Let's not talk about that. How much would it cost? All right, 60, here we go. So this is a lot of complicated tasks, right? We need to organize these people into their tasks. We need to find vendors, get all their contact information. We need to put together a timeline of how this stuff is supposed to go down. Think about this in the terms of large scale projects. If you were in charge of a team, right? Throwing, again, all the ingredients into the stew along with the recipe, putting the lid on it, setting the timer, and coming back. You can see here that GPT 1.0 is coming through with all this managing key aspects, putting together a timeline, revisiting. You know, it took 30 seconds to come up with a response, which isn't bad, but it's going to take a lot longer sometimes to do this as well. So team roles, see, we've got everybody organized. We've got vendor options. These are some great places, I can tell you. Caterers, photographers, DJs. Sad I didn't pop up in there. Florists, bakeries. Look at this, a timeline, 9 to 12 months. Look, everybody's got their role. Mark, reach out. Janet, color palettes. Tommy, get their member parties, find a date. I mean, this is really nice. Little things that break the team down into their tasks and when they're due, 2 to 3 months before, 1 to 2 months before. And obviously we can refine this, put this in Canvas, do all kinds of different things to it, but really impressive. Just really exciting ways that GPT 1.0 can formulate tasks, break things down, and do complicated tasks. And this, like I said, is really just kind of the beginning, especially if you know how to code or anything like that. GPT 1.0 is going to do really solid work in helping you code. Also, like I said, works with advanced project planning and management, data analysis as well. You can put spreadsheets into 1.0 and watch it go crazy. You need an academic assistant for any major topic. Education, tutoring, these are all the things that GPT 1.0 is really solid for. And again, these models are just amazing when it comes to GPT 1.0, GPT 4.0, GPT with Canvas, with web search. These are all models now that are all part of the paid subscription, once again, with GPT 4.0. So that is our 5 ways that you can use game-changing AI techniques today. These are some more 1.0 things: legal reasoning and contract analysis, decision-making, AI-powered creative assistance, which I think is going to be the huge thing for 25, simulation and scenario planning, agent-oriented delegation, making it do all the tasks for you. So again, these models are really impressive, and hopefully you can be able to get something out of these 5 examples of game-changing AI techniques that you can try today. You think we need one more? All right, we'll get one more. There's one more tool we want to show you today as a bonus, one that can help you organize your work life, and it is called Google Notebook LM. And Google Notebook LM is really cool because let's think about life, right? So maybe there's a topic in the world, something you're trying to learn, or maybe you're working on this big project and you've got some tabs open all over here on your computer. You got 15, 25, 30 tabs open, right? You haven't quite got to them yet. Maybe there's a few Google documents out there, some PDFs, some slides you got to read and go through to kind of start to assimilate all this knowledge. There's a few YouTube videos you could go through out there as well to sort of hone your techniques to make sure you know what you're talking about, and some tips and planning and things like that. Maybe some audio recordings and MP3 or podcast out there that you'd like to listen to and get some more input. Maybe a couple of meetings where some things happened that the course of action was detailed on how to execute this project. And maybe just random text, maybe just notes you're taking, things you're scribbling down, maybe things you're copying off of web pages and pasting into a notebook somewhere that you're trying to, utilize, so you can try to get all these thoughts into one place. Well, that is the beauty of Google Notebook LM. It knows essentially what you're trying to do, and it puts it into easily digestible little nuggets that you can sort of consume. And so if you're in the Google Notebook LM, you'd come to notebooklm.google. This is a free tool from Google. And essentially what it does is it takes all of your sources and creates its own little AI that you can interact with. And so obviously we've talked about the Earned Sick Time Act. It's on a lot of people's minds these days. So if you come in here to let's go back out here real quick. We see these are our notebooks, right? We have Webinar, our HireWire. This is our Earned Sick Time Act. Now this is coming up in February, and a lot of professionals are thinking about this a lot. Well, let's say we had a bunch of notes. We copied off some notes from some different web pages, some of the things that are some of the employee protections, some of the documentations that we have to find, just making notes, making sure that we've got everything that we're looking for. And oh, hey, there's this YouTube video that we saw that was really good from this law office that was about the entire ESTA. Awesome there. I want to watch that sometime. Oh, the Labor Economic Agency has put out all of their important information about it. So you can see we have all sorts of different resources over here about the ESTA. There's our notes. There's a YouTube video. This looks like a PDF from Leo. These are some Leo web pages as well. And so we have all these different, what we want to do is start to figure out, like, what can we make out of this? Well, the great thing is by combining all of our sources into, again, to use the analogy, one big soup pot, right? We can get output of anything we like. And the cool thing about Google Notebook LM is that it's only using the data that we give it. So only the sourcing we give it is the only output it's going to give us something from. So if I were to say, I'm going to type right down here, you can see I have a little chat bot. I'm going to say, I need a one-page summary for my boss for the ESTA, as well as things we need to do now through January 31st to prepare for the change. Just something simple. So using all of these sources right over here that we provided it, we have a PDF about it, we have some websites, we have a YouTube video, we have some notes. We're going to let our chatbot go to work on all this. And what do we get? We got a full page output here with a breakdown of all the stuff. Here's a breakdown what it is, how much sick time they get, usage limits, carryover, documentation. And here's what we wanted, right? In preparation by January 31st, here are the things we need to do. Awesome. Now, this one thing about Google Notebook LM, this chat will disappear forever and go away and will not be back here ever again if we come back to this notebook, unless we hit save to note. And once we do that, it becomes a note, and this becomes a source that we can use later on. You can use up to 50 sources, by the way. We can copy all this information. We can paste it into a Word document or whatever we need. If we wanted to add a note or create a briefing document, flashcards, training, we could do all of that right here through this chatbot that's only using the information we provide to it. And we can continue to add sources as we need. So when you add a source, you can add a Google Doc, a Google slide, you can paste in a website link, you can add a YouTube link, you can paste in copied text, whatever's easiest for you to put that information in there. That is what Google Notebook will feed and create things for you. And then one of the fun things is the new audio overview. And I think this is a game changer. This will build you a podcast. And you can tell the podcast to focus on whatever it is you want. Maybe you need it to focus on the negatives or the positives. Maybe you want it to create a narrative story about a person named Sarah who, needs to get time off. Whatever it is you want to do, you can tell the podcast to do that. This does take a few minutes to generate because it has to write copy, then it has to be able to record it. It takes some computing power. So we will hold on for just a second and start to wrap up while we're waiting on that, and maybe we can get a quick listen to that podcast before we wrap up today. So that being said, again, Google Notebook gives up to 50 sources. It makes podcasts for you, and you may have even seen it recently because one was made for you just recently with your Spotify Wrapped. If you hit the podcast button on your Spotify Wrapped, you heard the two voices from Google's Notebook LM, and they've got more voices coming online. There are other websites as well where you can take the transcript and get it to create different voice podcasts. But really, Google Notebook LM, I think, is going to be really revolutionary, especially for sort of just being a catch-all for a content topic. Whatever it is, a project, whatever it is you're working on that you know you need to get tons of information out of a bunch of different sources for, and it needs to filter through you to become one presentation. Google Notebook LM will be your friend for that, I promise you. So give it a go. If you already have a Google account, you're all set right there. Google has a lot of fun AI tools in their Google Labs you can try out, and Notebook LM is certainly one of those. So we're going to take a deep dive into a Notebook in an upcoming webinar, so we hope you'll be around for that. In the meantime, like I said, hopefully you got quite a bit out of this webinar today, and if you didn't, well, we'll send you guys out a recording as well that maybe you can, get a few more things if you haven't. But we do have time for just a couple of quick questions. So I'm going to go to the Q&A over here. Says Casey, are there limits to how much you can use the GPT in these scenarios? That's a great question, Casey. So with a paid account, your limits are much, much, much higher. If you have the free account, again, you're only going to get the GPT 3.5 model, which has only been updated through like 2021, 2022. So good for writing emails and cleaning things up, but it's not the most robust thinking GPT version. So these paid versions are certainly better. Yes, there will be some limits even in the paid situation, especially with GPT voice, how many times you can go back and forth. And with GPT 1.0, the reasoning model that we showed you that put together the entire wedding plan, maybe 50 inquiries a week, even on a paid subscription. So there are some limits to those, even with paid on the newer models of how much you can use. But the regular GPT 4.0 model that we use for just about all the everyday tasks, you're very rarely going to run out of time or run out of any kind of limits with that. Jade says, can you load a table into Canva and make adjustments to it there? No, you cannot. Thank you for asking. I think that's a great question, but you cannot in Canvas put, I think she said Canva, but yeah, Canvas. Just to put this into Canvas, for example, let's see if we can, okay, here's our table, right? So can we put the table into the Canvas? And let's see if it's trying. Oof. Yeah, I did not do very well with that task. So I'm going to say no. I don't think you can. See if I can try it one more time. Okay, it's trying. Yeah, it looks like loading a table into Canvas seems like a pretty challenging thing to be able to make the changes there. If you were going to make any changes to the data, I certainly would recommend doing it in something like Google Sheets or using Excel or something. So cool question. Thank you for that one. And then finally, Jessica, can you make more than one podcast? Oh yeah, the podcast. We forgot all about that. Let's go back to where that is. Ooh, it's here. All right, let's see if we can take a listen to our podcast real quick. So can you make more than one podcast on the topic?
Hey everyone, buckle up because we're diving deep into something that's going to make some serious waves here in Michigan. It's the Earned Sick Time Act.
ESTA for short. Mark your calendars, folks, because it kicks in on February 21st, 2025. Less than a year from now. So whether you're a business owner bracing for impact, an employee eager to know your new rights, or just someone who likes staying ahead of the curve, this deep dive's for you. We've got a treasure trove of info ready to unpack. My personal notes, the straighttalkformichigan.gov/wage hour, and even some juicy bits from a legal webinar we found online. And get this law could mean a whopping 1.4 million more Michiganders will finally have access to paid sick leave. That's potentially life-changing stuff.
No doubt about it. We're talking a seismic shift in how we view work and health in Michigan. See, the SEG makes it mandatory for practically every employer in the state, anyone with even one employee, to provide paid sick leave. It's a quantum leap from that old.
So you got a little bit of the sound of our podcast there. Very cool. Those are the two voices you hear a lot on the Google LM podcasts. And like I said, hopefully they'll have some new voices too. I thought it was weird. She talked for like 45 seconds before he jumped in, which was kind of weird. I was like, usually they're pretty back and forth and pretty seamless, but there you go. So we created a podcast straight out with our material from Google Notebook LM. And Jess's question once again was, can you make more than one podcast on Google Notebook LM? No, you cannot. You can make this one, and then if you don't save it or download it, you can delete it, and then you would start over, but it only makes one audio overview at a time. So if you don't like the podcast, you can change your sources, tell it to come at it from a different angle, and then regenerate it, wait a couple minutes, and it will get you your new podcast. But Google Notebook is really awesome in that aspect, being able to put that together, because now we can consume all sorts of information while we're in the car or doing other things. So that's going to do it for today. So that's all 5 of our game-changing AI techniques you can try today, plus one more. And if you have any further questions or ways or ideas you'd like to incorporate into your daily life, please reach out to me or your WSI representative, and we'd be happy to help you. I'm always happy to answer questions. If you want to hear that podcast as well that we just made in Google Notebook LM about the Earned Sick Time Act, let me know and I'll ship that off to you as well. So thank you guys again so much for coming. You can email me at mkeady@wsitalent.com. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much for being here.